successful nation of the day up to this point. That is the starting lineup for our final of the day. Yunus Kundugdu of Turkey will lead out the finalists. Of course, Oleg Varna of Ukraine, a very, very familiar face indeed in these rings finals. And here come the athletes.
Representing Turkey, Yunus Kundugdu. Representing Ukraine, Oleg Varna. Representing Armenia, Artur Thomason. Representing Belgium, Leon Disney. Representing Uzbekistan, Akhraton Timirano. Representing France, Paco Fernandez Enrique. Representing Armenia, Artur Avetisian. Representing Kazakhstan, Dmitry Badanin.
Moving forward for the first 4 athletes.
Well, our last 8 finalists have been introduced to the judges and to the crowd. And as ever, we will begin with the first 4 warming up before we get underway. You can see there, Oleg Varna of Ukraine is first up to practice. Such a solid performer on this apparatus. Hugely experienced gymnast, the parallel bars Olympic champion from 2016. But also very handy across a number of different apparatus rather. Well, in terms of the qualification results for this final event, it was Armenia's Artur Avestian who finished the highest. He had the highest difficulty as well with a 5.9. He's got the most difficult routine of all of these finalists. And he scored a 14.7 in qualification, which is quite some margin ahead of Paco Fernandez Enriquez of France, who finished second in qualification with a 14.250. So a pretty high scoring qualification round. Artur Avestian of Armenia, he won the gold here on this apparatus last year, and he will be sure, I'm keen, to make it back to back. Plenty of competition though in this one. Dmitry Badanin of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan have picked up a number of medals already. Today they've got a couple of golds so far. Of course, Badanin holds one of them. He got the gold in the floor. He's now going to give it a go on the rings. Can he get a second medal? But first of all, it is Turkey's Yunus Kundugdu who gets us underway in our last event of the day, the men's rings. 7th best in qualifying, 13.7. Well, he sticks the landing. There were a couple of struggles for him. A couple of slight shakes, but a good dismount. This is the first time we've seen him competing at a World Cup or a World Challenge Cup since 2023. He only competed in vault there, and that was just the one event in Cottbus. So I'm sure he is glad to be back on the circuit. 13.933.
Representing Ukraine, Oleg Varna.
Slightly up on qualification. Oleg Varna of Ukraine, such an experienced athlete. Fourth strongest in qualification with a 13.9, lower down on the difficulty score. This one's worth a 5. See the slight shaking there as he tries to hold the straddle shape, but the handstand is good. Slight hop back on the landing, but nevertheless it was a decent, solid performance for Verneyev of Ukraine. He's won medals across so many different apparatus. Bars, vault, floor, rings of course. He has 2 bronze medals to his name on this apparatus from the Summer Universiades. Gwangju in 2015, Taipei in 2017. Qualified with a 13.9, and he betters that.
Representing Armenia, Artur Tovasyan.
Artur Tovasyan of Armenia, the 6th best in qualifying. Nice landing and a solid performance from the Armenian. You can see he was shaking a little during some of those elements. Generally held his form well. He's 31 years of age now, the Armenian. We've not seen him competing at a World Challenge Cup this year. This is the first one we've seen him at since Czech in Croatia last year. He made it through to the final of this apparatus, finishing 4th, just missing out on a podium place. Well, 13.766 puts him in 3rd of 3 at the moment. Belgium's Liam de Smet is next up. 5th in qualifying. He has one of the more difficult routines. This is worth a 5.6.
Representing Belgium, Liam de Smet.
De Smet of Belgium, not to be confused with a footballer of the same name. Years of age, originally from Jiangxi in China. Again, we last saw him competing at this level last year in Czech in Croatia, reached the final of the Still Rings, finishing 7th there. Slight wobble on the handstand, the body not entirely straight. You can see he's veering off to his right hand side a little there. Slight step back on landing for Liam de Smet, the 4th competitor so far in this final. Reached the midway stage of this rings final. It was Artur Avestian of Armenia who finished highest in qualifying. We won't get to see him until almost the end. He is the 7th athlete to go, so might it be a case of saving the best till almost last. Dmitry Patinin as well, he'll be one to look forward to. He goes last. That is enough to get Liam de Smet onto the podium as things stand Slightly down on the score he achieved in qualifying though. Not too much of a difference. 13.8 versus 13.9, so he is nothing if not consistent.
Warm is over. Good luck.
Representing Uzbekistan, Akurkan Temironov.
Akurkan Temironov of Uzbekistan was third best in qualifying. He had one of the more difficult routines with a 5.4. See signs of struggle there, a bit of a shake, but nevertheless he is parallel to the ground and the handstand is well held as well. Just a slight step back on the landing, and that was pretty solid from Temkirkanov. .150 in qualifying, and that would be the highest score in this final. It's been a lower scoring final than qualifying, that's for sure. Saying that, we haven't seen Artur Avestian yet. Temkirkanov though was the third best with a 14.15. So let's see what the judges make of this one when it really matters. .166. Edges slightly ahead of his qualification score. That puts him at the top of the podium as things stand. 3 more gymnasts still to go though. This is France's Paco Hernandez Enriquez, the Frenchman who finished second in qualifying. Big score of 14.250. This routine is also worth a 5.4 in terms of the difficulty.
Representing France, Paco Hernandez Enriquez.
it nicely held. Some slight movement on the handstand, however. When the French are competing, you can always hear them in the crowd with the cries of "Allez!" Their athletes are always very well supported, no matter where they go. He scored a 14.250 in qualification. I'd be curious to see what the judges award him for his final efforts. There were times when he looked a little shaky on certain elements. 13.06, well down on the score he achieved in the qualification rounds. That puts him in last place. Artur Avestian of Armenia, the best in qualifying with a 14.7. He possesses the most difficult routine, a 5.9. And he is also last year's gold medalist. I'm sure he would like to go for the back-to-back. Well, that was a really solid performance indeed from the Armenian. And you'd imagine that he'd be very hopeful of topping the standings following that. One more gymnast to follow. But you suspect that Avestian has now set the standard, holding all of those elements perfectly still. His static strength hold is really quite something. His dismount as well was solid. Well, he looks relaxed, and a 14.5 propels him to the top of the standings. Artur Avestian is taking the gold as things stand, but there is still one gymnast remaining, none other than Dmitry Patinin of Kazakhstan. He already has a gold to his name today. He finished qualification in 8th place, however. Avestian will probably be thinking that that gold medal is safe. a solid landing. Dmitry Patinin rounds out the rings final. He scored a 13.6 in qualifying. His routine, the lowest scoring in terms of difficulty, with a 4.8. .633, pretty much the exact same score as he got in qualifying, so a consistent performance from Patinin. Confirmation then of the results in the men's rings final. Artur Avestian, the clear victor.
Third place and bronze medal representing Ukraine, Oleg
Varna. Of course, anytime you see his name on the start list, you know that he will be a contender for one of the podium places. 14.066 was his score. Kirkenov got a 14.166. That's how close it was between bronze and silver.
Representing Armenia, Varna
Avestian, great show of sportsmanship, congratulates his fellow competitors, steps up to claim his gold. Gold in this event last year, gold again this year. 14.5.
Second place awards, FIG President of Technical Committee, Artur Mickiewicz.
Второ място награждава президента на техническия комитет на ВИК Artur Mickiewicz.
And first place awards, President of Local Organizing Committee, Olympic medalist and world champion, Varna WCC.
Първо място награждава президента на Българския организационен комитет Йордан Велчев.
Please rise up for the national anthem of Armenia. Huge applause for the champions and march
Congratulations
out.
to Artur Avestian, Oleg Verniev and Horokon Temkirkinov on their wonderful achievements. 3 very good performances indeed on the rings to round out the day.
Dame i gospoda, na finału исполнение финално награждаване за течния трети състезателен ден. Утре ще наблюдаваме битката за финалите на земна гимнастика и греда за жени и през August предстои висилка за мъже.